Don Shula died today, age 90. Working on a piece on my blog also too. Don Shula, it's funny. I live in South Florida, so it's a little bit easier to obviously appreciate him here because he was still appreciated even 25 years after retiring as head coach of the Dolphins in 1995. Not hard to not appreciate because he's still on the Mount Rushmore of most. He's still on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, of sports figures, sports. How do you say it? Icons. But I've always felt that, especially when you remove a quarter century from his retirement, especially in the era of the race debate and all that, he has become more and more underappreciated, in my opinion. Like, when we have discussions about top coaches of all time, especially with people today, modern era, modern media especially, we hear the names. Bill Belichick, obviously, Vince Lombardi, Bill Parcells, Bill Walsh, Chuck Noll, the list goes on. I mean, those are the creme and creme. And by the way, those guys deserve to be there. They are in the conversation. But for some reason, we never talk about Bill. We never talk about Don Shula. I don't know why. Don Shula is the winningest coach in NFL history. Say what you want about he was there. He coached for X amount of years, but he's still the winningest coach in NFL history. That has to be respected. And he is to this day. Now, Bill Belichick could beat that in a couple of years. We'll see how things go now. That the Patriots are going to end up being a little bit average this year. We'll see how that works out. But Don Shula, to me, has become a little more underappreciated as the years go on. This guy has won 2 Super Bowls. He coached the undefeated Dolphins team in '72. Again, he's done so much. He was part of the. He actually not only just was great with the Dolphins, he actually was great with the Baltimore Colts in the 60s and 70s. Or 60s rather. So I don't know. It's just weird. Like we talk about coaches. I'm not saying that people, maybe obviously the old guard of NFL fans and writers are probably gonna look at Shula as all time great. But it doesn't feel like that when the modern media, we don't ever talk about Don Shula as a top tier coach of all time, despite the obvious numbers and whatnot. It's just weird. And obviously, for here living in South Florida, obviously we get respect here, because we're in the market of said guy. But it just felt like for years that no respect for Shula as that top guy, and maybe this death here will remind us just how great he was. Because to me, he's in the conversation of the top 5 coaches of all time. I mean, I probably will take Bill Belichick over him. I probably take Bill Walsh over him. But in terms of the top 5 discussion, he has to be at least discussed in there. I'm not saying he has to be in top 5, but he has to be discussed about it. And that in itself is an accomplishment. And I don't think Shula's even gotten discussion of top coach all time. At least modern media today. And it's pretty sad in my opinion. Because Shula was a great coach. Yeah. So, I mean, and by the way, he was 9 years old when he died this morning. And he already had been a lot of bad health in recent years too. So he was already on on the way out anyway. We've seen him in public last couple of years, especially too, with some events here in South Florida. Obviously looks a lot older, and he's looks a little sick. That's just is what it is. So again, rest in peace, Don Shula. To me, one in the conversation of greatest NFL coach in history, my opinion.